Hi, I'm Marta Benavides. It's time for Socialife. So wonderful to have you with us. On this episode of Socialife, we're searching for ways to help strengthen our economy. Coming up, a conversation with the man leading the Texas Workforce Commission. Hear how he believes we can overcome an economic hardship. Coming together to celebrate art. Our friends from IMAS will join us a little bit later with a special invitation for you and your family. And I hope you don't mind getting a little bit messy because this dish may just be worth it. See what's cooking at the Republic of the Rio Grande. Stay with us. Socialife will be right back.
We give 100%. We do whatever it takes. We sweat the small stuff. Every day, every hour, for 20 years. To ensure that every child and every community we serve has a chance to succeed, compete, thrive. This is just the beginning.
Healthcare is being challenged. DHR Health is meeting that challenge by providing the highest standards of care and safety, caring for our patients, and caring for our community. We're bringing the vast resources of DHR Health's medical campus, its 740 doctors, 5,500 employees, and over 70 satellite clinics in a coordinated effort to fight the spread of the coronavirus in our area. Now more than ever, DHR Health, for you, for life.
You know, during this time, we can tend to think about the things that we've lost, but maybe this is a great time for us to start new things, develop new habits, start the blog you've thought about, start an exercise routine, start the diet. So instead of focusing on what you've lost, think about the things you've been waiting to try and give those things a shot. I'm so glad that everyone's doing well. Hope you guys stay safe.
Some great advice to follow, Pastor Chris Dupree. Thank you so much. You know, right now, some guidance offers a new perspective on life. It also helps steer us in the right direction. The Texas Workforce Commission is a statewide agency that works very hard to establish programs and offer resources to those who are having some trouble making ends meet right now as they ease back into the workplace. And here to talk about those programs and those resources is our friend, Texas Workforce Commissioner Julian Alvarez. I'd like to welcome him now to Socialife. We want to welcome you and thank you for your time. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So thank you for the invitation to speak to your audience today.
Great to have you with us. I know that you just moments ago stepped out of a very important meeting that a lot of decision making was made in terms of resources that are coming to our area. Are you allowed to update us on that right now, on that information?
So I can speak to you at a high level. So today we took action on policy that would affect individuals with a disability, allowing more services to be provided to them. We talked a little bit about registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs, those in high school and those interested in going into the trades. We also spoke a little bit about childcare. As we start rolling out, or as the governor rolls out folks to go back to work, we need to make sure that we can be able to keep up with the demand on childcare services. So, you know, we served before COVID-19 hit us about 130,000 kids, not a day, not a year, but a day. So 130,000 kids are served by our agency.
I think it's important just to help put this into perspective, Commissioner Alvarez. How great is the need right now? I hear the numbers are pretty high.
So just so that you know, we get a daily report every day of the number of individuals that file claims through our agency. And so as of today, we've already had over 3 million folks that have applied for unemployment insurance benefits.
Wow. Please
keep in mind that, 3 million folks applying is more than maybe 16 states around the country that have population. So that just kind of gives you a perspective of how many people have filed. But just so that you know, we've already paid out about $11 billion worth of unemployment insurance benefits that have actually been funneled through our agency.
That is significant, to say the very least. I think, what's really important to share with our audience, Commissioner, is I don't think a lot of people realize that your agency offers support in so many ways. It's not just support by way of offering unemployment insurance benefits. You mentioned you all extend a hand to every member of the family. Would you elaborate on that?
I will, and I'd be grateful. And I mean, I'm very glad that you've allowed me this platform to speak about it. And I think we need to continue promoting the services that the agency has. I mentioned childcare. I mean, think about it. Mm-hmm. With our help and our assistance, we're able to put these children into quality healthcare centers. It's not just dropping off someone. These individuals that actually go through our programs through TWC are what we call TRS providers, Texas Rising Stars. And so there's a prestige to becoming a Texas Rising Star provider. And then we have those individuals that have a deficiency in math or English, and that's adult education and literacy. And Region 1 in your area has been very successful, and South Texas College, in not only receiving the funding, but putting this funding to work. So if an individual has a difficult time with reading or with writing or with their math skills, we provide not only the instructional part, but we also provide tutoring so that they can be successful. And then let's talk about children that are transitioning out of foster care. I mean, a lot of people tend to sometimes, it's a disenfranchised population, but when you think about it, we have a lot of individuals in South Texas and around the state that actually are in the foster care system. And so, what we want to do is make sure that as these individuals transition out, that we provide them a skill.
We are in phase 3. Governor Abbott was one of the first governors across the country to say, okay, we're going to ease back into this slowly, make sure that we do this right. He wants to get back into the business of doing business, but how do we do that responsibly, Commissioner? How do we do it safely?
Well, he listens to the folks with the healthcare professionals around the state. He has daily, or I would say weekly, conversations with the president and his advisory committee. He's also takes into consideration an advisory committee that's been set up by him. And we're very fortunate that we have folks like Mr. Cantu, Alonso Cantu, who serves on it. And then, of course, we have State Senator Chuy Hinojosa that serves in some capacity as well. So he's listening to folks, the CDC, Health and Human Services. And then, of course, conversations with him in our agency have been, very consistent.
A lot of great leaders in our community. You are right about that. I know that you have a call center that was established right here at home, here in McAllen, and I think it's important to acknowledge those who have been manning the calls and taking care of those who have looked to your agency for assistance. These are the men and women who worked effortlessly, that we call our essential workers, our superheroes. Would you like to talk about that? Maybe offer them some thanks right now?
God, Martha, that is one of the best things that I've heard. And we just talked about that earlier today. These individuals are in the hundreds. We have individuals around the state of Texas that actually are taking calls. And I know I provided you and your audience with a graph that indicates to folks the number of calls that we have received throughout the last decade regarding, Hurricane Rita, 9/11, and then, of course, we had the flooding of South Texas. So you'll see on the graph that there are how many calls came in. And then in April, you'll see of this year how the spike went up. And so just to kind of give you a perspective, we actually are receiving about 62 calls every second of the day. So multiply that times 24 hours and then multiply that times 7 days a week. And so that just kind of gives you an idea of the number of calls. And at some points, sometimes during this whole process, we received up to 1.7 million calls in just one day. But again, be reassured, we didn't get to all of them, but we did our very best. And then you brought up the call centers. We have 4 call centers that actually work for the Texas workforce systems. So because of the demand, we had to put in place additional 4 call centers around the state of Texas, all employed by Texans, all here in Texas, making sure that Texans have their questions answered.
Well, we want to make sure.
Something that I find unique is that in McAllen, you have a call center that's both English and Spanish speaking for our audiences around the state.
We want to make sure that we are able to offer those that lifeline that many people are needing right now during this pandemic. Where do we direct them to, Commissioner Alvarez? Where do we direct them to? How can they get a hold of your agency for help?
So for my specific office, they obviously can email me at laborinfo@twc.state, spelled out, .tx.us. And that email, I'm giving it to your readers, can certainly email me, and my staff of attorneys will answer those questions. But, one of the things that I failed to mention earlier is that, while, we talk about the high volume of calls that actually came into the agency, please keep in mind that, we in the past have just traditionally handled unemployment insurance benefits. But when the president announced that independent contractors and 1099 recipients, or those that were paid as independent contractors, were eligible for the additional $600, that made things challenging for us, because we were experiencing a higher call volume than we had ever experienced. And again, keep in mind, Texas wasn't the only state experiencing this. We had this throughout the country. And so again, I'm very thankful because we opened our offices or our call centers, extended the hours from 7 to 7. And then we also worked 7 days a week. And I got to commend the folks in McAllen. I was there on Palm Sunday when they were working. So when many of us were enjoying our time with our family, the only day that we've given them off this year, or since all of this happened, was Easter Sunday. So I'm very grateful for all the hard work.
It's wonderful what we can do when a community comes together for its neighbors. Now, you are from the Valley, for anyone who may not know that. You grew up here in the Valley, and you have held top positions ranging from law enforcement, education, to business. You were appointed a few years ago by Governor Greg Abbott to lead this wonderful agency that is doing some great work here in our community. That has to feel good. That has to feel fantastic.
Well, it does. I mean, Martha, you and I were neighbors. I mean, we used to live in the same neighborhood. And so you and your mother and I worked together when I started my professional career at Texas State Technical Institute at the time. And that was before we had the South Texas College on Pecan. But I've been very blessed and I'm very fortunate. I'm a first generation Hispanic that has graduated with a college degree from my family. I will tell you that my parents always stressed the value of education, but I think over that, they stressed the value of association. And so they said, if you surrounded yourself with successful and good people, that you were probably going to be successful or good. And success doesn't come with just money. It comes with how you feel at the end of the day. Like many of your audience, we could make more money, but it's what we do that changes the lives of many, not only folks from the Valley, but Texans all around. My main goal right now is to make sure during this difficult time, Martha, is that we're able to put money in people's pockets. And that's very important to me, regardless of where you come from or who you are. I mean, we have people, when we go through this pandemic, it doesn't discriminate. So we have folks that are doctors and lawyers, and we have folks that are, in the restaurant business and those in farm workers. I mean, we have a lot of folks that are experiencing something never thinking they would. So, but I'm very grateful. I'm just very blessed that the governor appointed me to this position where I could represent the interest of 14 million working Texans prior to this COVID-19. And being able to use my experience in rural Texas, the lack of broadband service, our educational system, and be able to make school more affordable or receiving a credential more affordable for every Texan, and especially those in South Texas.
Commissioner Alvarez, we are so thankful for you and the work that the Texas Workforce Commission does to serve this beautiful community. We celebrate your success. And on that note, I would love to toast to the hope that you and so many great leaders bring to our area. Thank you so much for your time. Salud.
Thank you, and thank your family, and thank everyone. Please tell your mom I said hi. Thank you.
She sends a big virtual hug back to you. Thank you so, so much. We wish you all the best, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you.
And coming up, for the love of art, our friends at IMAS are hoping that will draw you back to the museum. And we're going to have a conversation with them about that right after this short break.
There is a magic to this valley and to this university. We are champions in the arena, in the halls, and in our communities. The Valley's pride. The Valley's future. The Valley's University.
When you bank with Lone Star National Bank, you're investing in your community by creating jobs that stimulate our local economy, creating success that we share with our community. In fact, Lone Star National Bank donates more money and more volunteers to more causes than all other area banks combined. We do what the little banks can't, and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's Bank.
Looking for ways to stay safe, busy, and cool this summer? Well, we have a great suggestion for you, and this one supports our beautiful art community. And here to join us to tell us all about the wonderful things that are happening at the International Museum of Arts and Science is the lovely director, Miss Ann Fortescue. We thank you so much for joining us, Miss Fortescue. Welcome.
Thank you, Marta. It's a pleasure to be with you here on Socialife.
Oh, we are just so grateful to you for your time. So many exciting things happening at the museum. A lot of summer programs that have been set in place to welcome back visitors. Can you please tell us about them?
Certainly. Well, I should start by describing my backdrop. I'm sitting in the midst of Cosmic Connections. These are recent works by our own McAllen artist, Kirk Clark, also business owner of Clark Chevrolet and Clark Knapp Honda. So Kirk grew up with art all around him. His parents were avid art collectors, and that took him to art school, and he has always had art as a part of his life and always been a productive artist. So we are just so fortunate to be able to have his work surrounding us and on view for our community to enjoy. And one of the things I learned recently about Kirk is that he's a synesthete, which means he has multiple senses at the same time. So for Kirk, he hears color, which I think is just so fascinating when you look at some of the work behind me and think about sounds and music. I think you can let your imagination go away and and really delve right into the work, and in some ways maybe get a little lost in it.
He is so kind to always share this talent, this gift. Such a blessing to see his work, and it's so wonderful that he's sharing it and that the gallery is sharing it with the rest of our beautiful community. So much to look forward to, but I know that operations are running a little bit differently this time around, Ms. Fortescue. What do visitors need to keep in mind when they return to the museum, to IMAS?
Of course. Well, we've just reopened. We have modified hours, and that affords us a midday break when we're closed to the public so that we can do a cleaning. So Thursday through Saturday, we're open from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then again from 3 until 7 p.m. And we have a special welcome back $1 admission price for all of our visitors ages 4 and up. Now, our members are always free, And like all of the staff, we're asking our visitors to please wear their masks when they visit with us. We've got hand sanitizing stations throughout the museum, and our art galleries and our biozone animals are all open for visitors. We have a couple of other incredible exhibits. The McAllen High School art exhibit is up in our Welcome Pavilion, and this is work by some incredibly talented, gifted high school students. And this exhibit went up right before the closure and shelter in place. And so we are so fortunate that that MISD has allowed us to keep the exhibit open through July, and so people will get a chance to see this wonderful work, and it's right there when you enter into the museum.
You know, there's art for all ages. I will tell you, Ms. Fortescue, that IMAS is very special for me and my family. I am a mother of 2 art lovers. My children, ages 8 and 11, really have a deep appreciation for art. In fact, they've spent a lot of time during this crisis drawing, creating. We really encourage that in our family. Why is it such an important time, Ms. Fortescue, to support the arts?
Well, I think we often turn to outlets of creative expression at times of stress or times of need, and often those nonverbal ways that we can communicate, we can sort of share our innermost thoughts and feelings without uttering a word, are often very important for people. And many people who may not have picked up a crayon or a pencil or a camera or turn to their cell phone are doing so now to capture sort of things that resonate with them visually. And we have a wonderful, when we closed, we, like so many other museums and organizations, we wanted to stay in touch with our audiences, and the way to do that was through online activities. And one of the first things that we did was hashtag IMAS Artist, so that we sent an invitation out to the community for artists young and old and of all abilities to share the work that they were doing. And we've gotten some wonderful responses. We have a partnership with UTRGV and one of the art teachers there, and have an online exhibit of her students and their response to COVID-19. So again, another way for us to showcase the art that is being created in our community. One of the newest exhibits that just went up right before we reopened is called Wild Bees, and like bzzz, and these are exquisite large-size photographs of these pollinators in action. And as we were preparing for the exhibit, we said, wouldn't it be great if we could engage the community in looking at bees and looking at pollinators, maybe a little more favorably. And so we have a community photography contest. We've sent out an invitation to photographers, and we're inviting people to send us their photographs from their own backyard or from the flower on the corner, just to capture these bees in action. And we've gotten a wonderful response. There are just a few more days left to send us your submissions. But we're delighted at the response. And I think that speaks to your question about why is art so important? Because I think it really engages us on multiple levels. It satisfies that sense of curiosity, but also that sense of expression.
It sure does. And just how wonderful that IMAS is here. We hope that everyone will respond and find their way back to the museum, because it is beautiful, and you're showcasing some beautiful things right now for everyone to enjoy. You're so lovely, Ms. Fortescue. Thank you so much for your time and the beautiful work that you and all of our friends at IMAS do for our community. Thank you so much.
Marta, you are so welcome, and it was a delight to join you this afternoon, and we look forward to welcoming everyone to the museum.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to it. Coming up.
Thanks again.
Appreciate it. And coming up, a recipe that has fans asking for seconds, please. Don't go away.
McAllen feels different today. National emergency is changing everyday life in a place known for being social and open. But changing how we live doesn't change who we are, a community that makes the most of each day. We're still closely connected, even at a distance, working to make McAllen safer today and stronger tomorrow. Together, we'll look forward to the day when this emergency has passed and new reasons to celebrate begin. Until then, we'll make the most of McAllen.
Hey guys, this is Jorge Gonzalez, Executive Chef from Republic of the Rio Grande, and today we're gonna build tacos de cochinita pibil. We have the pot over here, we have the pan, we need to make sure the pan is extremely hot. Oil, just a little bit of oil. There's too many ways to do cochinita pibil. Usually what they do is slow cook in the oven. This time we're gonna do something quick. So we have the piece of pork, and then we're gonna throw the pork over here. We're going to add a little bit of salt and garlic. We use sear really quick, and then we add the cochinita pibil marination, that is basically a chiote. On this one I have garlic, onion, cloves, orange juice, lime juice, salt, pepper, and a lot of oregano. And then we add a little bit of water. Just a little bit. And leave it like that for 15 minutes. The meat will be falling apart, and then we move into the next step. And of course, if you make cochinita pibil, it's gonna be with cured onions and habanero. Slice the onion. Carrots. The more thin is the best. Chopped garlic, salt, oregano, so a little bit of habanero if you like it spicy. Ooh. Like that is fine. Deutsch, and lemon juice. We mix everything together. What you need to do is just let it rest for at least 30 minutes, and we'll be done. And then we move to the next step. The pork is already falling apart, so that means it's ready. Put it back in the bowl. And the tortilla is hot, then you do this. O the escabeche, a little bit of cilantro, Deutsch, and then the epazote salsa is tomatillo, serrano, onion, but everything is burned, like basically burned. And then you just chop everything, add salt, pepper, and then use a bunch of epazote. Put the lemon
Tacos de cochinita pibil.
I love it.
Thank you, ladies.
Oh my God. Thank you, Chef. These tacos look amazing. And thank you, Sony, for having us here today. And Marta, we wish you were here. Cheers.
Cheers. I wish I could have been there, Sally. We also want to thank our friends at the Republic of the Rio Grande. We also want to thank Texas Workforce Commissioner Julian Alvarez for his time, Pastor Chris Dupree, Miss Anne Fortescue, and all of our friends at IMAS plus Deutsch Deutsch. And especially you for keeping us company once again. We cannot thank you enough, and we look forward to serving you once again. For now, we leave you with the art of socialifing.